office space in a 4-year period. What we've just seen happen, we've only added 28.6 million square feet of office space since we came out of the recession. 10.3 million that's already been occupied. Tenants are already living in it. 17.3 million square feet under construction. That's only a 15% increase. So we've only added 15% additional office space in the market compared to the 62% we added in the 80s. So what likely scenario, we'll see a slowdown in office construction. And we're probably going to see an increase in Class B and C vacancy rates. But overall, the office market is fairly healthy. So this is another reason why we're not going to see a repeat of the 80s. Let's talk about what happened in residential housing during the 80s. From 82 to 86, we added almost 188,000 housing units. That's both single-family homes and apartments and multifamily homes. We added that while losing 221,000 jobs. I still can't figure out why we continued to build in the 80s. When month after month we were getting reports of job losses. Part of it was the local developers, the local builders who'd always been here, knew to pull back. We had a lot of local developers who were very slow to get the signals. And this created the collapse in housing values we saw in the 80s. Now, since the bottom of the recession, we've added about 190,000 single-family homes and apartment units, while adding 446, or so that side should say 480,000 jobs. So we're adding more jobs and houses, where in the past we were adding more houses and jobs almost. Likely scenario, we'll probably see an improvement in supply. Right now we only have a 3-month supply of housing in the market, meaning at the rate we're selling, we'll go through the entire inventory in 3 months, or however having to replenish. We'll get back up to a more normal supply of 6-month housing. Then we'll see some easing in prices. You guys remember Eddie Childs? Western Company in North America. He used to come on TV and say, if you don't have an oil well, get one. As if it were that easy. And there's this great sense of hubris that was in Houston in the 80s. I was in journalism back then. I remember attending parties where they were serving caviar and champagne for an oil company. You haven't seen that occur during the last boom. You may also remember the bumper stickers around town that said drive 80 and freeze a Yankee. Actually, it's a little less polite. It's drive 80 and freeze a Yankee in hell. But you don't see that attitude anymore in Houston. We didn't have this attitude in this last boom. A lot of people who were making business decisions over the last 2 or 3 years remember what the 80s were like, and they had a different attitude. If you want to talk about the attitudes that represent Houston, it's guys like J.J. Watt. Yeah. And what did J.J. Watt say when he signed his $100 million contract? He said, I'm going to work so hard to prove that I'm underpaid. Now that's a work attitude for you. And what about Craig Biggio when he made the Hall of Fame? Yeah. And Craig said, my goal was never to make it to Hall of Fame. My goal was to be the best baseball player I could be. Totally different attitude over the last few years leading up to what we're about to see happen in Houston. So where is Houston headed? Where is this economy headed? Well, right now I'm standing by my forecast of 62,900 jobs. I'll let you know it's probably on the high side, but we're still going to create jobs. There's another economist in town that maybe you've heard of, Bill Gilmer at the Institute for Regional Forecasting. He's saying that we're going to create between 43,000 and 53,000 jobs. Well, I was chiding Bill and I said, I'll split the difference. If you say 43 and I'll say 63, I'd be happy with 53. The point is we're still going to create jobs this year. We're not going to create them at the pace we've created the last 5 years. But we're still going to create jobs, and at the end of this year, if you want me to come back, or when you read the papers, whatever, we'll have over 3 million jobs in the region. To hit a new milestone. If you look at what's happened with employment in Houston over the long term, there are only a few years in there in which we have significant loss in jobs. One is what we had in 2009. But if you look at the long-term average, here I carried it out to the decimal point. Long-term average, it's about 47,400 jobs we tend to create for the long-term average. If you take out the yellow bars and you do the math, it really comes up to between 60 and 70,000. The point is, our long-term average is about 50,000 jobs. Now, we're going to see employment growth in pretty much every sector this year, not at the same rate, but we're not going to see it in oil and gas because we're already hearing about the losses. But this right here is probably the most important slide in my entire presentation. And if you don't remember any other image I put up there, I want you to look at this one and remember this one. The blue line is employment going back to 1990. The red line is oil prices going back to 1990. If you look at what happened from 1990 to the year 2000. Oil prices seldom got above $20 a barrel. But if you look at the blue line from 1990 to 2000, you can see there was employment growth. We actually created over 500,000 jobs in the 90s when oil prices very seldom got above $20 a barrel. If you look at that, you can see the big jumps in the red line and the big dips in the red line. See the big jump in 08? It helped juice Houston's growth, but it didn't determine Houston's growth. And if you look, even with the uncertainty that we've had in oil prices, a lot of wiggling towards the last few years, you still see employment growth. The point is, over the long term, Houston will create jobs. The next year, the next 18 months may be a challenge. We may have to readjust some of our expectations, but Houston will grow again. Houston will continue to grow. It's almost the mantra for Houston that we will continue to grow. If you want to look at what's going to happen with population, I've got just 3 more slides. Population Houston, as a general rule of thumb, tends to add about 125,000 people every year in the region. Half of that is through natural increase. Half of that is because we have more babies being born than people dying. So you're going to get 60,000 natural increase. But you also get about 60,000 people moving here. I've got the forecast from 4 or 5 different agencies up there to give you an idea what others are saying is going to happen to Houston's population. The Texas State Data Center is the official demographer for the state of Texas. The legislatures in Austin right now, as they're making plans, they need to know what's going to happen with Texas population, what's going to happen with individual counties' population, what's going to happen with populations by different race and ethnic groups and genders and age cohorts. You look at the Houston Galveston Area Council, which does planning for our region. Look at Ray Perryman, who's an economist out of Waco. Woods & Cool is a forecasting firm out of Boston. And you see the Texas State Data Center up there 2 ways. Texas State Data Center does one forecast for slow in-migration, meaning if people move to Houston at only half the rate they moved in the past. And fast in-migration, meaning if people continue to move to Houston at the rate they historically have moved to Houston. So you've got a firm in Austin, you've got a guy in Waco, you've got a firm in Boston, you've got our planning organization. This is what they say is going to happen to Houston's population through 2025. All these independent forecasters still see population growth for the region. Easily by the year 2025, we'll have a million more people living here. That poses challenges. It poses challenges for the education system. It poses challenges for infrastructure. But it also poses opportunities. Opportunities, whether you're dealing with serving a very young clientele, or whether you're dealing with businesses, or whether you're dealing with consumers. The market in Houston, the demand in Houston, aggregate demand, the demand for services will continue to grow. Maybe not as fast in the next 2 years, but they will recover and continue to grow. And if you want to look at gross domestic product, this is by the same guy in Waco, Ray Perryman, who does the forecast. This is after inflation has been taken out of the numbers. And if you look at where Ray Perryman puts us in 2015, he's adjusting the numbers from constant dollars from 2005 constant dollars. But if you look at where we are today and where Ray Perryman, this economist out of Waco, forecasts in Houston region, he's forecasting the size of the economy to more than double over the next 25 years. Granted, the next year or two, growth may be a little bit slower, but Houston will recover. We always have. We will go back to our previous rate of growth, previous rate of normal growth. So if Houston were a stock, I'd be bullish on it. I'd be buying it now. I'd be accumulating it. Knowing 2 years from now, 3 years from now, I'll be able to cash in and make a nice windfall off that. So the long-term outlook for Houston is strong, maybe a little bit uncertain over the next few months, but we should be glad that we live here because this is the best place in the U.S. to live. So thank you very much. Milton said I have a few minutes to answer some questions. Anybody has any questions? Very bad.
How can we get a copy of that presentation?
Okay, if you email me, and the easiest way to email me is if you go to our website, houston.org, you go to economy, you'll find the staff box there. You can click on the staff box and email me. I'll gladly send it to anybody. You can find me through the Great Houston Partnerships website. Gladly send it to you. Keystone Pipeline would help because one of the things Keystone would bring in the heavier crudes from Canada. That's the only thing that we're not, that's the one thing we're still importing a significant amount of because we're importing it from Saudi and from Venezuela and Mexico. That would be one thing that could help us become more energy independent with the Keystone Pipeline. One of the challenges is when you run a refinery, you can't just run crude, one type of crude, that you run a mix of crudes. And we're importing almost very little light crude because we're getting it from the Eagle Ford and from the Bakken. But if we could get heavy crude from Canada, and Canada's a much more reliable ally than the others, it would definitely help us. So, and this, once again, this is Patrick speaking, this isn't the partnership speaking. I'm in favor of Keystone Pipeline. So. Question over there?
Question. Okay, so what you're saying is that because of the price of barrel oil, consumers are actually doing better right now than they were doing before, because I don't think anybody in this room wants to pay $4 or almost $4 for a gallon of gas. So it sort of seems as though that the higher prices are somewhat subsidizing the oil and gas industry. Now I know that this is an oil and gas country, but I can't imagine anybody in this room who wants to run out there and pay $4 for a gallon of gas.
Well, no, I agree with you. It's nice when I pull in with, I drive an F-150. So it's nice when I pull in and I can fill up for $40 a tank. The problem is if gas prices stay down for a longer period of time, you're going to see more layoffs in Houston.
Let me ask you a question. What would be a good number of a balance between what's that?
If oil was selling around $70 a barrel, I think that would be fine, and that would get gas probably up to around $3, $70 a barrel. That would get gas up to $3 a gallon, and I think we could live with that.
Guys, let me just say this, and why I think I want you guys to stay as long as you can. This is important to me. Clark Martinson is here. Clark is the managing director of the Energy Corridor. You know, we keep talking about Highway 290 and I-10 and the corridor, but Clark is over that. So in addition to everything that Patrick is saying, we're fortunate today to have some of these areas of influence, and of course one of them is the Energy Corridor, and Clark is here, and he'll comment further on that.
I guess probably one more question, and then we need.
I know all is important, but something else that's very important is healthcare. Could you just give us a synopsis of your projection on healthcare, specifically healthcare in Houston?
The healthcare sector will continue to grow in Houston. It'll continue to grow for two reasons. One is we have a constantly expanding population. If you look at it more crass rather than saying patient, you say consumer or customer. When you add 125,000 people every year to your population, there's going to be a demand for more healthcare services. The actual numbers, we have about 95,000 births every year in the region. One of the times you consume the most healthcare in your life is when you're a baby, when you're a child, from 1 to 5, all the vaccinations, all the baby visits. The other is the over 65 population in the region grows by about 15,000 to 18,000 people every year. It's another time you consume a great deal of health care because as you age, as you deal with the the aches and pains and so forth. So that bodes real well for healthcare from the local sector. The other thing is the new head of the Texas Medical Center, Dr. Robbins, is working real hard to make the medical center an economic engine and to be able to get the institutions there to work closer together and for it to be truly an export of healthcare. And so both counts, I only see good things moving forward for healthcare. I see it as being, it's always been important to this economy. I can see it growing in importance in the economy over time.
Let me just emphasize this one, guys. We're fortunate today to have the Texas Medical Center represented here. So we're getting ready to bring those guys talk Patrick is about each one of their areas. So we'll talk about the collaborative efforts that the medical center is doing with all the hospitals. Okay, guys, you're on cue. Guys, we're fortunate today, and I want to thank Patrick also for everything, all the great words, the insight. He is one of our foremost economists. I mean, it's not always good, but nothing is always good, but there's a lot of good. It's a great city, and I don't care where I go in this country, people want to know, as Jadid was saying, how we're doing it in Houston. Right, Jadid? So we're just fortunate here. And so the Medical Center, Texas Medical Center, Texas Department of Transportation, Houston Airport System, Clark, Energy Corridor, Altamira, downtown, folks, we are graced today with such an illustrious panel to follow Patrick. We've got the best that we have. These are our areas of influence right now, and there are others that we will continue to unveil the rest of the year. But I think it's appropriate, Clark. I think it's appropriate, because we talk so much about oil and gas and the energy corridor. I think it just keep rolling, huh? Just keep running with you. We're fortunate today, Clark Martinson, who's worked in a lot of different areas. He's worked with Bob Urey from the Downtown Management District, Altamira. And so he's been around for a while. He knows the ropes. We've got an ever-expanding energy corridor. And I know you got some words for us. So I'll start off with you, Clark, in that effort.
Well, to tell you how great Houston is, it accepted me from Nebraska here in 1985, and I work for these energy companies, and I drive a Prius. So go figure that, and I ride a bicycle, and I encourage walking, bicycling, and taking the bus as much as possible because that's the city that we're trying to build. So the energy corridor, if I can make sure I get that, is located halfway between downtown and Katy, and it's out there because we're close to where a lot of engineers work, and so it's convenient for them to go to work. The companies are from around the world with 91,000 employees today, growing to 150,000. And what Patrick was describing, in the 4 decades that the buildings have been built in the energy corridor, the first 10 years were the big boom. And then with the depression, or I'll call it depression, or the 80s that we experienced, very few buildings were built in the energy corridor. But today, the decade that we're just finishing, this 4th decade of the energy corridor, we have more construction than the 3 decades before. How is this happening? Downtown, the Woodlands combined would be less square footage of office building under construction now than in the energy corridor. So today, about $1.8 billion worth of construction is underway with office, but over 5,000 apartment units. And now those dots represent the 16 apartment units under construction in the energy corridor. These are under construction, not moved into yet. Because of the jobs that were created, we're providing more housing so we have shorter commutes and more people have the opportunity to live close to work. Over 41 office buildings, which would be the size of most downtowns, have been built in the last 20 years or 10 years. And by 2015, we'll have 27 million square feet with 100,000 employees. By 2030, we'll have 40 million square feet of office space, and that is going to be equivalent to the size of the workforce in downtown today. To respond to the need for office towers and for office and for getting around, the energy corridor and the city are building more roads in the area with what we call a 380 agreement. It's called on Park Row. And then land that hasn't been subdivided in the past is now being subdivided and sold off. And then new construction is happening with apartments and office in that area. And then if you look at it regionally, from the metro service area for metro buses is in green, so the county area is in brown outside of that. A lot of people are going to be moving outside of the metro service area. We want to be able to connect in the black lines to the light rail or bus rapid transit or whatever high capacity transit happens. What I love are the green lines, which will be all the bayous and the other greenway initiatives that are happening for trails. And then we would like to see in the energy corridor additional service for, you don't have to drive your car to work, but you can take the bus to get to work. And so we do have a master plan for transit. And then I'll conclude by saying we're trying to create a place that's great to walk around, pocket parks and bus stops, and so that when you're walking across the street, it's a safer, streets have a lot of cars on them, so let's make it safer to cross the street. And then when you get to the other side of the street, let's make sure there's some amenities for you as you're waiting to cross the street. Patrick was describing the growth that we have seen in economic growth of the region. He mentioned the new business announcements that have been made, the barrel production in the U.S. and how we've been gathering a lot of that expertise in the energy corridor to oversee that. And then the slide that he said was the most important, I agree with him. The price of a barrel of oil, yet at the same time that went down, encouraged by the growth in the business. We know that there will be a reaction this year to all of that, but we also recognize even with the slowest growth, we're still going to grow by 1 million people, and we want to make sure that that growth is not just in the suburbs surrounding Houston, but also in Houston and in the business districts that have been established so far. So that was it. But the unprecedented growth that we're having and being prepared for it, and recognizing that in 2040, Tomball will be bigger, Magnolia will be bigger, Katy will be bigger. It might even go as far as Victoria, the growth of Houston. But we want to make sure that our own business districts stay vital as well.
There's always hope. I love it. Houston Airport System, Edward Mahal. We're always excited to have the airport. That's really three major airports. But we've got tremendous growth at Bush. Terminal C. We're going to have United Airlines and Manhattan Construction, who is this construction manager at risk for Terminal C, will be here next month on February 24th. But I know that you want to talk about Mickey Leland Terminal. That's the one that's so important. Edward Mahal.
Good morning. As you mentioned, my name is Eduardo Mejia, and I'm staff analyst with the Office of Business Opportunity at the airport system. In reference to the growth and everything, we are going through a period of tremendous growth in the airport system. The first being with, as many of you are familiar with at Avi, we do have the Southwest project that is going to be completed at the end of this year with a schedule of October 2015. As you know, it's going from a domestic airport to an international airport. Down there at Ellington as well, we are working on the spacecraft. All right, so it's going to be part of the whole space exploration. On top of that, as Milton has mentioned, I do have information here on Terminal D, or as many of you know it as the Mickey Leland International Terminal. All right, so, and I'll just come up here, up to the upcoming opportunities. Before I talk about this, at the end of February, on the 27th of February, we will be holding what we call an industry day, which we will be giving you way more information in reference to all of the upcoming opportunities in relations to the ITRIP, the IAH, or Intercontinental Airport Houston, Terminal Redevelopment Program, right, so Terminal D. February 25th, we will be having council action approval award for the award of the Executive Project Manager DPM Services contract. That's going to be the company that's actually going to be handling the new terminal, or the construction from start to finish of the new terminal. In March, there will be council action and approval award of Program Management Support Services contract in relations to the advertising, design, and or construction related to the East Remote Garage Parking Park Center, temporary jet walkway, the East Baggage Handling System expansion, permanent church rate installation. In April, we will be advertising construction for the new project management office building. We will be advertising for architectural engineering design for the Mickey Leland International Terminal. We will be advertising the construction manager address for the MLIT, which again is the Mickey Leland International Terminal. Can you go back to the previous slides? And in May, we will be advertising again the CMAR, the construction manager address for the temporary East baggage handling system opportunities, as well as advertising for the construction of the ITRIP and enabling packages, utilities package. All of this may sound like Latin, but I promise that on February 27th, at this interview is going in full detail with project deadlines, when they start, when they'll finish, figures. They'll actually be talking about money in reference to what is expected. As a whole, the whole international terminal will be $1 billion, or $1 billion plus project, all right, which will be in about 6 to 8 year range. They're trying to go on the aggressive side, so they're trying to make it a 6-year program, all right. So as of now, that is what I have for the Houston airport system. All right, again, we are going through a tremendous growth, and we hope that all of you can participate in it.
Excellent award. That is, it's very, and you said the Mickey Leland terminal, that's 1.25 billion?
As of right now, I mean, they are saying 1 billion, but the way the figures are looking, it's actually 1.5 billion, yeah.
Excellent. Guys, we got to keep up with it. In February 27th, where's it going to be, Industry Day?
As of right now, it is to be determined. They still haven't yet, we're still working on that. So if y'all do have questions about it, get with me there at the back, and I'll take your information, and we'll put you in our database so that way we can forward you the questions.
Excellent. All right. Deidre? Guys, I had to bring Deidre because I know you're wondering what's going on with all this highway work at 290, 288, 290, I-99. This stuff going on, right? Okay, please tell us.
Good morning. My name is Deidre Samuels, and I am here on behalf of the Texas Department of Transportation. So when I spoke to Milton this morning, and he said that he was interested in 290, I said, well, I'm actually not the 290 Public Information Officer. Karen Othon is. But what I can talk to you about very briefly, and also get any questions answered or back to our 290 PIO. It's basically TxDOT and where we stand as of right now before I called up Carlton Cooper, who actually works with the Office of Civil Rights. The Houston district of TxDOT is actually the largest district in the state. I'm sure it is no surprise to you, as you were probably in some form of traffic on the way here, am I right? So everyone always asks, well, so what are we going to do about it? We can widen lanes, we can build overpasses, we can build direct connectors. But listening to Patrick, I took a few notes, and he said 60,000, a little over 60,000 people are moving into Houston every year. That's a little over 1,000 people every single week. So, where are those people going? They're joining you on our transportation system as they try to get to and from work, just like you do each and every day. So what is the solution to that? The solution isn't something that you necessarily want to hear. The people moving into Houston will always outpace our transportation network. But what I can tell you is we are making great strides. There are several projects that are going on in the Houston district, such as the US 290 program. The widening is from 610 to 2920. They actually just opened up the 290 direct connector to I-10, which alleviates a lot of congestion and weaving in that area. There's also the Grand Parkway project, as well as the I-45 Gulf Freeway, widening from Beltway 8 to about Bay Area Boulevard, which if you travel to Galveston, you know there's kind of that block. Once you get to the Beltway 8, it stops because the lanes literally go from 5 to 3 lanes. So we will open that up. Some of the planned major projects that we do have coming up are the 288, we call it the toll project, which is the first concession-based project in the Houston area, which basically means that the developer will design, build, operate, and maintain that project. And we're looking to have that contract awarded next month, at next month's Texas Transportation Commission meeting. Construction to start on that in 2016 and be completed by 2018. So before I call Carlton Cooper up here, I basically wanted to talk a little bit about Prop 1. If you voted in November, it certainly was on the ballot and was approved, which actually puts $1.7 billion into our state highway fund. And that sounds like a lot of money, and yay, I'm very excited about that. But know that we need $5 billion a year to operate not only our current transportation system, but the future system. So while we're trying to build, we're also trying to preserve our current system. So $1.7 billion will go a long way in providing some of these projects that I've mentioned now, but we certainly want your comments with some of the long-range transportation projects that you're looking at. But without further ado, I know this is a business networking meeting. This is my first time here. So Carlton Cooper, who works with the Office of Civil Rights, is here basically to talk to you about how to work for TxDOT. If you are a small business, if you are a hub, and you're interested in finding out how you can work with TxDOT, how you can get those contracts, how you can make that money, and also help build our transportation network, he's the person that you need to talk with.
Thank you.
Well, and I'll probably be able to talk more about those things at the table, because I know I don't have a lot of time, but, and I'm very passionate about what I do, so, Mills, if I go too far, you grab me, okay? But it is indeed an honor for me to be here with you today, and, Mills and I commend you on this audience. This is awesome. This is what we're looking for. You know, businesses, looking for opportunities to work with, all the agencies and municipalities around the state of Texas. I'm here on behalf of the Texas Department of Transportation Office of Civil Rights, where Ron Wilson, the former state representative from Houston, Texas, is the director. And if you know Ron Wilson, you know one thing about him. He's very passionate about the city of Houston and people having opportunities to do business with the state of Texas. I'm just going to use this as a prop, because I can talk about a lot of this stuff. As I said, I'm passionate about what I do. I can talk about what we do in our office of civil rights is we have a supported services area, we have certification, we have a compliance area, and just about every project in the state of Texas, that contract has to go through our office, because especially if it has a federal highway goal, especially the federal dollars. So our office has to give it a stamp of approval. So because we're trying to make sure that people in this room and around that look like us in this room around the state of Texas have an opportunity to bid on those projects. But what I want to make you understand, there's more opportunities other than the bricks and mortar, the concrete that you see on State Highway 288 and 290. There are other opportunities at Textile. And that's what, and I want to tell a lot of people, I worked with a Houston company last year, trying to get them on a project with us, and it's about getting in, because we all understand the political process, you know, the politics involved with everything, just in our way of life. So it's about getting in and positioning yourself. So when you get in, you enhance your business, enhance your opportunities. So I just wanted to talk about some of those opportunities. You have aviation, you have maritime, you have maintenance, there's hauling, there's hauling, the opportunity for any truckers in the room, male or female. I know female hauler that I'm working with here in Houston, out in Maryland, and I met her through an event like this. And I met her sister, and so we found out that she had trucks, and so we started talking. She knew nothing about textile, and now she's in the process of getting DV certified, and is going to have some opportunities to work with textile. But before I go any further, this is the question I want to ask first. How many hub certified people do we have in the room? Maybe about a third of the room. I want to encourage everybody in this room, hub is historically underutilized businesses. If you're not hub certified, you need to get hub certified. There are a lot of opportunities in the state of Texas, that means with universities as well, to do business and to procure some opportunities through your hub certification. It doesn't take that long. You know, any success you're going to have, you have to work first. So it's paperwork, but it's worth it. You know, I'm standing here, I'm hub certified, and I can't tell you the number, and I'm also in the Central Master Business Race, CMBL. So if you're hub certified, you're not on the CMBL, you need to make sure you get on the CMBL list as well. That's Central Master Business Race. Okay, that way you'll get contracts that are coming to you, or bids that are coming to you. So if I know I got my counterpart back there, they can talk to you about it as well, also from the state. So, but I want to encourage you, because right now I know, just talking to the director, I know definitely the African American numbers are down with hubs. And so I want to encourage you to get hub certified. Your opportunities, bids going out every day. How many people here are DV certified? That's disadvantaged business enterprise. Okay. You know, I want to encourage you, if you're going to work with textile, you have to be DV certified. And I don't know if Mr. Warren's in the room from the city of Houston. You will have to go through the city of Houston to become DV certified. Okay. That does not mean you cannot talk to the certification people in our office. You can. You can always call us. But to get your certification, you will have to go through the city of Houston. That's the start of being able to do business with textile, is being certification. If you don't have those, you won't even be able to start doing business with textile. But once you get those, you can start doing business. And the second thing is getting to know us. You know, getting to know the people in your district office. A lot of times people overlook the district office and come straight to us. You want to know and build those relationships with the people in your district office and also our office. And I'll say this again, and it doesn't just happen in Texas, it happens in everything you do. Building relationships. Not saying I know somebody. That doesn't work. That'll get you an introduction. You want to build those relationships with people. And just to show you that it does work, and just to show you that there are other opportunities with textile, I want to introduce two people that we that have contractors. They're not big contracts, but it's consistent work. We have Jody Moore. I saw him earlier. He'd stand. He's one of our consultants. He works with a lot of us. We do a speaker series, and we do trainings around the state, in our 25 districts. He worked with us last year, Linus Jefferson. He was here earlier, and I didn't get a chance to see him. But he's another local Houston business person that does business with textile. I don't know if you're familiar with just recently, the Aunt Bee's restaurant. You know, she knew nothing about textile. She was told by a friend. Now she has what they call a B-Dot restaurant in the Houston district's office. So there are opportunities out there, you just gotta seek them. And I encourage you, again, just continue to stay in touch with the people at your city office, your textile district office, whether it be the local comptroller's office, any of the state agencies, the University of Houston, Texas Southern. You know, so, but then I'm gonna close with saying these couple of things. We have two programs that we do. It's a TAP program, Technical Assistance Program, and we have what our T-Box centers. And what they do is they give you business, bidding and estimating, bonding, training, once you become DBE certified. So it's to help you grow your business and continue to enhance your business so that you are prepared to do work with us. And so when you do become a DBE, you can apply for that assistance. And those are contractors and consultants like Jody. They're around the state. So please get yourself DBE certified. Please get yourself Hub certified. And last, we're going to be partnered with Texas Southern to do what we call a Business Opportunity Development Center at Texas Southern University, so we can continue. It's not established yet, but we're in the process of making that happen, so we can continue to do more work and make sure afford more opportunities to the business here in the city of Houston. Thank you very much.
Guys, that's outstanding. I mean, just flat out outstanding. I mean, that commitment is what we're looking for in this city. Commitment to small, minority, women, veteran, disabled veteran-owned businesses. Excellent, excellent. And Larry. I met Larry not very long ago, 3 months ago. What ideas. You know, we're always looking for creative ideas, ways to do business, ways to find new things. And the medical center is the largest of its kind in the world, with some of the best hospitals in the world. You know, MD Anderson Cancer Center, maybe between one and two in terms of cancer research. Texas Children, third largest hospital in pediatric care in the United States. And Memorial Hermann. We didn't have the guy next month. Balfour Beatty just won a big contract.
Be the 7th largest city in the United States. Our revenues are about $20 billion a year. So the medical center, how do we support that? How do we play into that? Well, essentially what we started off doing to attract hospitals and entities to come to the medical center was to offer them land. We offered them land at $1 for 99 years. So all of you here, I'm sure, excited about that opportunity, and we're not taking applications to give away any more land than $1 for 99 years. Because the other piece of the equation is that you have to be a nonprofit in healthcare education, research, or healthcare center corporation. We've been responsible for the last 50 years or so, and the last 30 specifically under Dr. Bernardi's leadership, for all of the infrastructure of the medical center. So basically, we do everything except healthcare education, healthcare research, and healthcare delivery, which is ironic considering I work for the Texas Medical Center and we do none of those things. But we provide support and services to all of our member institutions that do so. So, as Patrick mentioned earlier, in November 2012, Dr. Bernardi retired and Dr. Robbins was brought on. And those of you who either seen Dr. Robbins or read about him realize he is an amazingly dynamic individual. He's a cardiac surgeon, came out of Stanford, born and raised in Mississippi, likes to refer to himself as a country boy. I still remember when I was called in to do my first interview with him, the agency told me very specifically, do not call him Dr. Robbins. He likes to be called Bob. Wow. So, you go in for an interview with somebody and you're going to walk and go, hi, Bobby. So sure enough, I made the mistake of calling him Dr. Robbins. He said, call me Bobby. Have a seat. Very dynamic individual with a great vision. And his vision is all about collaboration. So I want to spend a little bit of time in closing here talking about what collaboration means in the medical center, but most importantly, how it translates and what it can mean for you. I first came to Houston in 2004, and I was fortunate enough to come here. There've been a lot of references to the Astros here before the medical center. I worked for the last 9 seasons with the Houston Astros. And I was really lucky because I came in October of 2004. My very first Astros game as an employee of the organization was a playoff game against the Braves where Jeff Kent hit a game-winning home run. And I thought, wow, this is going to be an amazing run. The next year, the Astros, as we all know, went to the World Series. So I remember talking to Drayton after the World Series, and I said, it's really interesting. You hired me, and the club goes to the World Series. Coincidence? 3 years later, he was in my office talking to me about something. He goes, I remember you telling me about 3 years ago, club went to the World Series right after I hired you. Coincidence? Well, we've been having some problems for the last 3 years since we hired you. Coincidence? Man's got an amazing memory. But the reason why I mention that is because one of the interesting things that I found about when I worked with the Astros is Major League Baseball strategy on cooperation. I was shocked to find out that every year, you see on the news about the winter meetings where the GMs get together and do trades and all their conversations. But what you don't know in the background behind that is every year, all of the business units do the exact same thing. So as an HR representative and a security representative, I would also be at the winter meetings, but I wouldn't be in with the GMs. I'd be on the business side. And we would get together and talk about strategies and purchasing co-ops and all these various things we could do because Major League Baseball strategy was your competition on the field is certainly each other, but your competition off the field has nothing to do with the team across the way. So as a member of the Houston Astros, my competition was not the Texas Rangers. It was not the Atlanta Braves. My competition was the Houston Texans and the Houston Rockets. So the teams would collaborate on everything, whether it was marketing, facilities, engineering, stadium operations, human resources. I could pick up a phone at any time and call my counterpart at the Rangers, Terry Turner. I'll call my counterpart at the Atlanta Braves, Laura Juris, and talk to them about HR issues. I could call my counterparts in security or facilities or whatever the case may be to talk about how we could collaborate on various issues. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. So I was fortunate enough when Dr. Robbins came on board and decided this whole concept of collaboration to come with a mindset that was very similar to what his vision was. So what does the Texas Medical Center mean when we talk about collaboration? Well, what we mean is, believe it or not, in all these years, 55 member institutions, there are only 2 things that the member institutions collaborate on. Laundry and energy. That's it. Since 1943, the member institutions have only collaborated in 2 areas. That's it. That makes no sense. As Milton said, we have some of the greatest minds here in Houston working on healthcare research, education, and delivery. Why would we not collaborate and work together? And there's a whole host of reasons why we haven't, but that's neither here nor there. What we want to talk about is what we'll do going forward. So on one side of the equation is what we call the programmatic infrastructure. We are currently creating institutes. We have 2 of our institutes up and running now, innovation and health policy. And we'll create 3 more, clinical trials, regenerative medicine, and genomics will be our other 3 to give us 5 institutes, where members of the medical center, the member institutions, can come together and collaborate on these particular subjects. Because as of today, if you work for MD Anderson, you work for Baylor College of Medicine, and you work for TCH, and you've got some great minds, and you're all working on the same research, discovery, medical device, prescription drug, whatever it might be, there really is not an opportunity for the 3 of you to get together and work together collaboratively to accelerate that discovery. We're going to create institutes where those individuals can come together and work together behind the discovery of those institutes. And we're creating those institutes literally as we speak. Meetings are going on. With those institutes will become the development of TMC3. Those of you who maybe have seen President Dr. Robbins' State of the Medical Center address where he announced and unveiled a TMC3 development where we'll have an actual physical location where all of this collaboration will take place. So that's the programmatic side. But what about the business side? As I said earlier, right now, we only have 2 areas where we collaborate. So one of the things we're looking at, and we're putting together now, again, as we speak, is a purchasing co-op of the medical center. We don't want to be a part of, right now, some of the medical centers, member institutions are part of other healthcare co-ops, but the reality is we are the biggest medical center in the world, not just the United States, but in the world. Why would we need to leverage our strength with someone else? No one is as big, no one is as powerful, no one is as effective as we are. So what we're currently doing now is working with the member institutions to create co-ops around some of these shared buying opportunities so that we can then come to businesses and present those. But the most important piece, and the piece that I wanted to talk to you about today, is how you can help us develop this co-op. Because the one thing I've noticed, and I've looked and researched a lot of co-ops that are out there, is I don't know that they take into consideration your side of the equation, which is your experience. What is your entry? How do you get in? How do you get these meetings? How do you find out what the contracts are that are out there? I'm not so sure that a lot of that information is out there, but as we create this, this is the opportunity for us to receive feedback from you. What works? What doesn't work? Where have you been successful? Where have you not been successful? Because the reality is, unbeknownst to many of you, is that I speak with the member institutions every day about opportunities. And the reality is, we don't know a lot of times where to find these businesses. The reality is, a lot of times we go on Google and type in engineering consultants. Or we go on Google and type in, construction, temporary labor. Just not too long ago, I was looking for temporary labor services, and I was on all these websites trying to find companies, and eventually I ended up just going into Google and finding them. And my thought was, man, if we had a powerful database here in the medical center, where we had all the local businesses in Houston that we can support, where I or any of my counterparts around the medical center could just type in temporary labor services and know Houston businesses that have already been vetted and are in our database that can be part of the Texas Medical Center's co-op. So essentially, again, that's what we're trying to build and develop, working with the member institutions right now to figure out what their needs are, what their parameters are, what their goals are, and then what I'm here to talk about and to reach out to you is to have an opportunity to get some information and feedback from you of what this should look like, sound like, and smell like, so that at the end of the day, the engagement is positive for you and positive for us, and ultimately leads to some relationships here in Houston, because we are all about Houston, we are all about Houston, the Texas Medical Center, but we're also about making sure that this is a benefit for our Houston community. I'll be here at the table for any questions afterwards. I want to share my business card with you, and I look forward to having a conversation. Thank you.
Boy, what a great effort. Larry, we really appreciate it. We're here, and I know we're going to give you some feedback on that. Thank you so much. We've got one more person, and it's easy to introduce her because I've had the pleasure of working with her for so many years, right, Mama? So many years, in doing financing and doing loans. What a fighter for the community. And Aljanita Scott Davis. Aljanita, please. Thank you so much for being here. She has, she's working now with the Downtown Management Group and with Bob Urey. And Clark said she's a closer, and she is. Because again, we have so much going on downtown, Aljanita. We're just so excited, and I know you are, about the opportunities and how we can translate those to our people out here. And so with that, Aljanita Scott Davis. Thank you.
Thanks so much. It's a real pleasure for me to be here. Marlon and Brennis and Milton and Ruben, talking about going back 30 years or so. So we're right here doing this breakfast, and I know it's very important. And the opportunities that are presented here are opportunities that you would not find elsewhere. And so my role today is to talk to you a little bit about what's happening in downtown Houston. I am Government and Community Affairs Officer for Central Houston. What is that? Central Houston is the membership organization that works to bring business development downtown. It also works with the Downtown Houston Management District. Those are the guys that you see walking around trying to make improvements downtown. They have on the little yellow jackets and the teal pants, and they make sure that things are pleasant in the downtown area. That group is also affiliated with the tax increment reinvestment zone. You've heard of TERS's, and so we're TERS number 3, and we're downtown. A little bit about what's been happening downtown since those of us who've been around a long time. We can see the massive changes that have gone on between 1980 and today, for example. The change in the million square feet, 28 million square feet to 44 million square feet of office space. You can look at the change in the amount of convention space. So you know Houston is gearing up to become more of a destination location. So you can just look at all of these stats that show the increase in residential units, where downtown is becoming not only a place to do business, but a place to live. Here are some dramatic changes that have occurred since 1965. The chart that you see, and you can't really see the numbers on the bottom, but those are 5-year increments with the exception of the last. And it indicates that there has been more than $6.1 billion invested in downtown since 1985. And in the past 3 years, from 2014 to 2017, $4.2 billion in construction and development will occur. Take a look at this map. This is downtown Houston. This map illustrates those areas those buildings between 2007 and 2017 that have either been constructed or renovated. That's a lot of downtown that's changed. It's been unprecedented growth. Unprecedented residential growth, 36%. Office, 20%. Hotel, 21%. 48 projects are now under construction or in the planning stages for downtown. If we look at Houston generally, the Houston area, downtown represents only 8.7%. And you've seen the statistics from the Greater Houston Partnership and from the energy corridor, so you can see what's happening in Katy Freeway with 35.4% of office construction occurring. These are some illustrations of office development downtown. And I want to describe them. Describe the buildings that you are seeing. On the left is the Hines building. That will be at 609 Main. So you can imagine whether it's kind of cat-cornered from the old Texas Commerce building. The center picture is 1111 Travis. And that's the elevation of how it's proposed to look. And of course, 800 Bell, which is the old Exxon building. And that renovation will begin as soon as the relocation of Exxon occurs at the end of this year. More office projects under development. These are projects that are in the bubble. You know there are issues right now with the decrease in the price of oil, so some of these projects are being delayed. Some of them may not happen quite as rapidly as we expect. But these are proposed projects, such as the Capitol Tower, which is on the Houston Club site, that first building on the left, and it's owned by Skanska. Chevron's new tower, of course, has been proposed but delayed, and it's waiting budget approval. And to the right is 6 Houston Center, which has financing that's awaiting a major tenant. Another area where there has been substantial growth is multifamily development. And you can see where it's occurring. Within the inner loop, almost 14,000 new units of housing for families within our inner loop. 7,700 units within the west area. You can see where they're located. Almost 29,000 units total of multifamily construction. Multifamily construction on the inner loop, where it's in the near town River Oaks area. And you've seen these buildings that are going up, that are the 6 to 8 story buildings. You can see what's happening in the medical center and downtown, where there's multifamily construction as well. We have what's called the Downtown Living Initiative. And that is an initiative that's been supported by City Council, where developers will receive up to $15,000 per door of unit that's constructed downtown. And here are some of the buildings that have taken advantage of the Downtown Living Initiative. The first is the Fingers Company building, 7 stories, which is located right near the ballpark, and you can see where the arrow is pointed. Then, of course, 1111 Russ, the old Texaco Heritage building that was located right at Russ and Travis on Fannin Street. And then Block 34 is Alliance Residential Company. You need to know the names of these companies. If they're doing business downtown, you need to seek them out so that you can become a part of their efforts. More downtown living. The Market Square project on the north side of downtown, 40 stories. It will change the skyline in downtown Houston. The Catalyst location by the Marquette Company, 28 stories already under construction. And the Hamilton building, which is being done by Resolution Real Estate on the southern end of downtown. If you see these buildings that are in blue at the southern end, that's the area where we are hopeful to have another park. Other buildings that took advantage of the Downtown Living Initiative, Hines Market Square, 32 stories with 274 rental units. The Allied Orion Group with 8 stories and 242 units. And of course, Leon Capital back on that south end of downtown. Alexa downtown, also, when you can see where the arrows are pointing, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted everybody to really pay attention to where these residential units are. Sky House Houston and Sky House Maine, for example, are 2 partner buildings that are 24 stories. All that you will see downtown, more of these properties that are residential units and where they are located downtown as well, with the Cosmopolitan, Camden, and Marlowe. Hotel construction. Downtown hotel construction, 2,300 units, with 6,100 units in total, because we are preparing to be the destination city. The downtown unit, the JW Marriott, very, very pretty, right across from the old Texas Commerce building, right on Main Street, JW Marriott. And here's some other hotel developments, and I want to get those names so you'll know where they are. And while I'm doing that, the person who is the president of Central Houston, Bob Urey, has come in, and we want to welcome him. Bob, you want to wave your hand? So I'm representing Bob on the program today. So he's the guy who's been at this now for a good 30 years, and so it's been my privilege to work with him. Okay, on hotel units, other projects, these are in the pipeline, going clockwise, Spring Hill Streets at the Humble Building, 2 hotels that will share a lobby on Crawford, Hampton and Homewood, the Holiday Inn, which is the old Savoy Hotel, for those of you old Houstonians who remember the Savoy, and of course the 1,000-room Marriott Marquis that's being operated by Houston First, right near the George R. Brown Convention Center, and the Hilton Garden next to Wedge Tower. And the last area I want to talk to you about in terms of construction and what's happening downtown is our public and nonprofit construction. Here's our jewel, HSPVA, which will be downtown. It's already under construction at 1300 Capitol. And we are very excited to have that building downtown, and it will be near a lot of our performing centers, one of which is the alley that's being redone, along with the Now Center. And this is a cultural center that if you grew up in Houston and you remember the old train that was at the zoo, because Houston always has been the town of the locomotive. Well, now the old train has been moved downtown, wrapped all up, and this building is going to be built around the old train, which will be inside of it, along with other historical buildings. And this will be our Texas Heritage Center, the Now Center. If you will notice with the convention district, you see the blue that's across the face of George R. Brown, that's George R. Brown Convention Center, and Discovery Green. That blue represents the modifications that will occur in the front of George R. Brown. It will remove 2 of the lanes of Avenida de las Americas, and there will be restaurants in the front of the convention center to make it more welcoming. You will also see under construction another garage for George R. Brown on the north side, as well as the Marriott Marquis, which is on the north side of George R. Brown. This is an illustration of the front of the convention center, the way it will look once Avenida de las Americas and that work is done. And of course, this is the construction how it looks right now. So you can be prepared for a lot of changes in the Houston district, as well as changes in the convention district, as well as changes going down Main Street where we will make some modifications, and that's where we come in as the tax increment reinvestment zone, as well as Dallas, because Dallas Street is planned to be the retail corridor for our city, and it will look like that. And you can kind of see the old Sacklewoods building and more retail to come in that area. We also do the vehicular wayfinding signs and the pedestrian wayfinding signs. Everyone, I'm sure, has seen everything happening at Buffalo Bayou Park. It's a beautiful renovation that's going on. So we are participating in that. Your tax zone will be using $2 million to constantly maintain Buffalo Bayou Park. As you know, it's a stormwater runoff, part of our stormwater runoff system. So there's a lot of maintenance that's required. In the left corner is the International Coffee House that's at Allen Landing that's being reconstructed, as well as the pieces of Buffalo Bayou Park and the Dunleavy, which is the restaurant that will be there. Because we have to get ready for the NCAA Final Four, April 2016, and Super Bowl 51 in February 2017. So for Houston, something big is up in downtown Houston. Thank you.
Boy, I mean, you guys, you can see, I mean, let's have a hand. I mean, this is one of the greatest towns in one of the greatest cities, well, maybe the greatest city in the country, and some of the most innovative people we have. Aldenita, thank you so much. Bob, thank you so much. Bob Ure has been over this district for 20 years, more than 30. I'm being kind. Bob, thank you. And thank you so much, Aldenita. Guys, these people all have exhibit tables in between the pillars. They want to talk. I mean, Larry, I think, said it great. They want to talk to you. They need to know your ideas. They have opportunities. But not just them. I see Alex Sandoval in the back. Alex and everything. Alex, you had something? Alex is rushing up here. He said, Milton, Metro. And while Alex is coming up, Will, why don't you come up too? Why don't you come up? And you know this, hey, Will, you know this is impromptu, right? All right. Guys, I just want to bring these two guys up. Alex Sandoval is with Metropolitan Transit Authority, and he always has opportunities to help.
Thank you, Milton. It's almost going to be lunchtime, so I'll try to be brief. Tomorrow we have a pre-bid meeting at Metro at 9 o'clock. We have one of the largest mega contracts coming out that have to do with MetroLift. It's over $300 million, and it's for the span of 5 years. After the pre-bid meeting, we're going to give the opportunity for some of you vendors to come and pitch your services to 7 of the prime contractors that's looking to bid this opportunity. And to add a little bit more sugar to your day, I also wanted to give you heads up on some of the opportunities that are coming up. Metro will be building a park and ride in the future For El Dorado, it has a $10 million budget. We're going to be purchasing electricity. I believe Metro purchases about $8 million worth of electricity each year. We're going to be buying bus paint. We're also going to be doing some IT work. There's 2 opportunities that relate to budget system migration along with SAP business analysis. We're going to be buying office supplies. I know I meet several of you guys that come to this breakfast. We're going to be buying about $150,000 worth of office supplies. We're going to be buying radio equipment. That's about a $1.5 million worth of work of equipment that we're going to be purchasing. We're also going to be buying printers, plotters, and for those of you that are in the medical insurance business, we're also looking to have an opportunity relating to that. That's for the employee benefits, and also those that are in the liability workman's comp. We're also going to have investigative services relating to that. We're going to be purchasing cars and vans. We're going to need services that can help us appraise our buses and the equipment that we have available in Metro. These are some of the opportunities. I didn't want to name them all, but please be aware that there's things happening here in the city, and Metro is part of that. And we hope that you can take advantage of these opportunities. Come and see us. Please come tomorrow to the pre-bid meeting. You got to find ways to plug in your business and services into these mega projects. Thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Will Norwood. I'm the Business Development Manager with the City of Houston Office of Business Opportunity. First, I just got so excited hearing all these opportunities throughout today. If that didn't get you excited about 2015, I don't know what will, because there's a lot of opportunities there. One of the things that different people mentioned was certification. We do certification for the City of Houston. Also, we do certification on behalf of the state with a hub. So if you are not certified, we do a workshop every Thursday at our office, 611 Walker Street, 7th floor. We started at 2 o'clock. It runs from maybe about 2 until 3:30, 4 o'clock. And this is a free workshop to talk about all the different certifications that we offer. It also covers the application process, the criteria, and everything else that you need to get certified. So if you are not certified, I recommend going to that workshop. We do it every Thursday, so if you can't make it this week, it's going to be next week and the week after. So you don't have to register or anything for that. Just show up, 7th floor, and be ready to ask any questions. If you cannot make the meeting, you can still go to our website, houstontx.gov/OBO. The OBO stands for Office of Business Opportunity, where you can go and get started on the application process. A couple things that we got going on. In February, February 17th, we have a Small Business Legal Academy. We partner with Vincent and Elkins and also with the Pro Bono Council in Texas C-Bar, where we're doing free legal advice or free legal consultation with small businesses. This is February the 17th. This is going to be at the South Texas College of Law. You can get more information and you can register on our website if you click on our calendar of events. Again, that's houstontx.gov/OBO. They're giving out free legal advice to all the small businesses that come out. We're going to have the mayor come out and do a nice warm welcome for that event. Also, they have free breakfast. So if that's going to entice you, then just come out for the legal counsel too. But you got free breakfast as well. This Thursday, if you are certified, if you're currently certified and you want to get started on making sure that you identify the right opportunities and come up with a game plan to get contracts with the City of Houston, we have a I'm Certified What's Next workshop. That's this Thursday from 10 until 11:30, and it's at the Office of Business Opportunity, 611 Walker Street. You can register on our website as well. If you've been getting the emails, we're going to send another one out if you're in our database to give you the link to register for that. In this meeting or in this workshop, I go over all the tools that we have on our website for you to identify different opportunities with the City of Houston, how to do the research, go over different types of certifications that we offer, and also the procurement process with the city, so you can get a little more familiar with how we do business and how you can approach and present your business in the best way possible to find those opportunities. Again, I'll be over here with my colleagues at the Housing and Community Development table right there. They also have Section 3 certification, so if you want to get more information about becoming Section 3 certified, you can go over here to this table as well. I'll give it back to Milton. Thank you.
Guys, I want to just do a couple of things. Cheryl, just wave. No, Cheryl, you don't have to come up, but I just want you to wave. Cheryl Colson, CHS Surety, Justin McQueen, those guys have been some of the best that we have when it comes to bonding, and surety, and insurance. I mean, Cheryl, Justin, both of them I've known for years. I mean, some of the best. Matt, thank you so much for being here, Preferred National Bank. I know you're looking to do some deals. I wanted you to meet Marlon. I told her we could do some tandem loans. All right, guys, you know, one thing that we're gonna do next month, right, Ruben? We're gonna take off from what Altamita did, and we're gonna have some more downtown, midtown efforts and what's going on in, you know, specifically. Ruben, specifically. Just tell me what you're doing. I mean, to take off from what Bob Uri and Altamita is doing, specifically, what are you doing with Houston First? And I know that you guys have teamed up with the Greater Houston Convention and Visitors Bureau. Tell us just quickly what you're going to do next month.
I'll be extremely brief. This has been a long meeting, and I appreciate it, Milton. But basically, you need to know that Houston First Corporation is responsible for the operation, management, and implementation of the convention and entertainment facilities. Those are iconic facilities that include the Georgia Brown. Many of those that Altamita has mentioned: Georgia Brown, the Worthing Center Theater, Discovery Green, Hilton America's Hotel, the garages there, etc. They operate basically on a $250 billion a year budget, and the key thing is that they have a 30% annual participation goal. 30% of $250 million, $75 million per year that they're looking to do business with diversity companies. That's on the general procurement, on the general operations every year, okay? In addition to that, there's probably about $550 million worth of work in capital improvements that Altamita noted to you guys is going on. There's a 34% diversity participation goal there. I'll be back next month to talk more about how to do business with Houston First. But during the interim, you should go to www.houstonfirst.com and register with Houston First. So that goes directly to our database. So as those general procurement opportunities come up, we're able to go into our database and directly send you, in addition to posting it on our website, directly send you those opportunities that relate to your NACIC code. So please do that registration. Come back next month. We'll talk more in detail about how to get some of this capital improvement work, that 34% that's associated with the $150 million worth of capital improvements that's going on that Altamita noted, in front of the Georgia Brown, the Avenue of Americans, the parking garage to the north, the two pedestrian walkways that's going to be added, the office building on top of the parking garage, and the hotel on top of that. There's just plenty of opportunity here, so if you're not getting some of this money, it's not because it's not out there, because you're walking over it. It's simply you won't take the time to stoop down and pick it up. The opportunity is here.
Guys, this concludes the breakfast, but before we do that, we've got a drawing, and our great lady has three CDs that she wants to deliver. And you know, you have a testimonial. I don't know, where is she? She left? Okay. But yeah, Premier Wallace actually, you know, she was at our last breakfast. She sang. Premier Wallace, one of our sponsors, actually used her, and she continues to talk about you. Every day I talk to her, she says, "Boy, that lady was outstanding," and we really appreciate this. And so the raffle, okay, how are we gonna do that? What's the cost? All right. Okay. We're going to let our illustrious panel select. Clark, turn your head. Okay. Now you must be present to win. Timothy, Tim Cargill, Ty Cargill. Larry? No. How about that? Jessica Watcher. How'd you like that? PGE, Environmental Consulting and Management Services. Yes. Okay, one more. How's the meeting? Okay. Lindsay's office furniture. Okay, that's good. Skirving Johnson's, G. Skirving Johnson, DMSI. DMSI, Skirving? Skirving, is that you? I was getting ready to pull another card, man.
And let's do one final drawing. The person for this drawing will get a 2-hour reception party at their house, or their business, or a banquet. If you donate me to someone, there's been people who've done that. Well, not me, but my services. My cleaning services.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I need your business card so that I can make sure that I put you in my database, and you have to schedule it sometime in 2015, and I'll come back 2 years from now and say, okay, we want you to come to our house for a party.
Jody Moore.
Yeah.
You're a winner. Jody, come on up, man.
Bring your business card. You can call me and schedule a 2-hour party. I'll come and I'll entertain your guests, and there'll be no charge or anything.
Jody, you like to get parties, don't you? No, I said, she'll tell you about it.
I'll tell you about it.
Redeem your gift with her. Right there.
For those of you who do have events this year, my procurement rate is $200 for the first hour and $100 for each additional hour. So you can do a 2-hour party for $300.
Boy, is she great. Hugh, I know you have the Houston Business Journal. Hugh. Howard. Where's Howard goes there? There he is. Howard. ADS, Adaptive Digital Services. Perfect timing, Howard.
Yeah, cool. Okay. It's good where you are. Congratulations. By the way, yeah. In the future, anyone want to do any type of, marketing of their own firms, or, if you welcome to sponsor our events, and that way we can bring you here and then use your products and services. And I do appreciate you guys give our great forecast for the, Houston for different sectors. And we do need your help for the following months. Please, come back, and especially, with all your, partners like a general contractor, whoever, come to your service, and to share some contracting opportunities. Okay, thank you, and Milton, let's give them a great call.
Excellent. Guys, one more time. Thank y'all so much for being here. Remember, February 24th, and you'll hear from us. We thank you so much for you being here. Let's network. Guys, we gotta take
Thank you.